motor, recognize. Heckler house. Oh.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, we know the riots are going on in LA and that the George Soros funding and a bunch of leftist billionaires are funding all the events across the United States. And it's just in, blue cities. Go figure. Anyways, that's all I keep hearing about. They think we're going to go to war with Iran. I don't see that happening. The U.S. has backed Israel before, but this is their own deal. They did this. That's them. Anyways, so that's the only things that I saw that was really major going on in the news. I seen that we got, which I knew about, but I hadn't seen the teaser trailer for it. We got a new Tron coming out, called Tron Ares, and it's visually it looks pretty. That's what I thought about Tron Legacy. It looked pretty. The story was okay in Legacy, but from what I understand, this isn't actually a sequel. It's more of a reboot that they're doing. They're trying to introduce a bunch of new characters, and I don't think it's going to go over too well. I mean, it is a Disney movie, and Disney hasn't really been putting out the hits lately. The fact that they're going to make it a reboot instead of a sequel, yeah, kind of slaps fans in the face. So I don't know. Didn't see much in the trailer. We'll see where it goes. I also saw they dropped the new Naked Gun reboot. I think I watched the first one, but I didn't watch the others. There was like 3 of them, I believe. I mean, it's slapstick. We'll see if it's any funny or not. Most of these movies, I don't really get into them. Like I didn't get into that Hot Shots and crap like that. But I also saw that they're doing another Spaceballs. Oh man, dude, it's been forever since they had that movie come out. Now, I love the Spaceballs movie, so I'm scared to death they're going to screw this one up. They're going to screw it all up. They should have just left it alone, because that's like the best of the best from Mel Brooks. It's Spaceballs. Love that movie. Anyways, I saw all that. Just figured I'd touch point on that. Let's go. Okay, I just got done playing a video game that you may have heard of. It's the Spyro games. Spyro or the Reignited Trilogy or whatever. It has the 3 games in one. I just got done playing that not too long ago. I love the Spyro games. There's one thing I can't stand in video games is when they're got jumping. Like the characters got to do a lot of jumping throughout the game. I hate that crap. Oh my gosh. It puts people on nerves because the game developers or designers, whatever, they can't ever get the jumping technique right for any character in any game. You know, it's like either there's a glitch that causes them to jump wrong, or get stuck, or when you're jumping with the character, for whatever reason, they think it's funny to make the character move, just take like an extra step or two. So you can't land exactly where you want to land, and it screws you up all the time, and you have to constantly redo the jumping. I hate that crap. I hate it with a passion. Spyro, however, doesn't do that. He glides. So he doesn't necessarily jump. I mean, he can, but he glides a lot. And I like that because then you have some control of how he lands. He also has a fire breathing ability. You know, he spits fire. And he's got this thing called a speed dash, where he basically rams things. There's now the fire and the speed and the flying. There's also power-ups throughout the game that allows you to do like a super bash, or a super fly, or or a stronger fireball or some shit like that. I really didn't care for the super speed bash. A lot of that just sucked. It was a pain in the ass to do it because he's all over the screen. He's a little hard to control. But it wasn't like so bad that you get super frustrated with it. You might get a little frustrated, but you get over it pretty quick. Now, in the first game, you have this villain called Nasty Nork. He's basically an orc. And for some reason, he's able to turn all the dragons into crystal. And you gotta go throughout each of it's like a Mario type game. You have like 4 or 5 worlds, and each world has a series like 8 or 9 like levels or whatever. But you gotta go through each of these worlds, freeing like a few dragons in each world. They also have dragon eggs you gotta save from like these little blue thieves that you gotta chase around to get. But other than that, that's about it. Now, I thought it was funny that Nasty Nork turns all the dragons into crystal except for Spyro. For whatever reason, it doesn't change Spyro or the guy giving him the interview at the beginning or throughout the game. When he's getting interviewed by another dragon, but you don't see the dragon or whatever doing the interview. But they're the only 2 that don't get crystallized. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But anyways, it's a really fun game. I really like the first one. Each world has a flight level in it where you just fly around, collect items, but it's got a timer, and I didn't care for the fact that it had a timer. It makes it a pain in the ass because some of those you have to get just right in order to collect all the items. Other than that, the game's really great. Now the second one, they introduced a couple of new characters or whatever. I didn't really care for the second one. I didn't like the bad guy at all. I thought he was stupid. Some little red midget looking dude with 2 goofy looking guys as his henchmen. But in that one, I think they're all turned into crystal again for somewhat of reason. You gotta go free the dragons again. But it's a different world. It's not the dragon world. It's a completely different world. Like I said, I really care for the second one. They introduced this thing where there's certain characters in the game that you take control of for certain levels, and you gotta use that character and their abilities to get through the level. I didn't care for that at all. I didn't want to use different characters. I just wanted to use Spyro. But yeah, the second one was it was okay, but I didn't really care for it all that much. They changed the way you get extra man too. Now you gotta get them in these little fairies in a glass jar, whereas before you collected, like, you would kill enemies again on another level and you collect like these little orbs or whatever from killing enemies multiple times, and you get extra men that way. I didn't care for the new way they did it, which was you had to find these fireflies in these glass containers. Then the third one. The third one I liked too. It was more closer to the first one. Didn't have as much as the speed dash. There was a little bit of speed dash in there, but it wasn't that much, which I liked, because I wasn't a big fan of the speed dash. In this one, I mean, you had a couple characters from the previous game show up, but you didn't have to play as them, so I like that. I don't know, I like the third one a lot better than the second one, but the first one was the best. At the end of the games, you have like a bonus level where you can collect jewels and you can get past 100% in the game. I did all that. I collected all the jewels. I got over the 100%. The only thing I didn't do was, in order to open up the galleries, which is just pictures, art pictures, they want you to do certain tasks to do it. I did all the ones in the first game, but the second game they had some iffy ones, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And then the third one, I didn't care. It was just the gallery. You don't need it to complete the game. But yeah, overall, I love the Spyro games. They're really great. I definitely highly recommend them. 2 thumbs up if you like Mario type games. This is your type of game. Trust me. It's not hard to play. And it's fairly easy to complete all the tasks. It's a little time consuming, but it's not that bad. And I like hunting for gems and shit, so that was also cool. Alright, let's move on. Animal shows. I tried watching several different types of animal shows, because I started watching that, what was it, Billy the Exterminator or whatever. I think it was on Animal Planet, and then he went to A&E. I'm not sure. But I did like Billy the Exterminator. He was a goofy motherfucker, I tell you what, but he was cool just because of that. He was just, goofy dude, but he was, he reminds you of Joe Dirt, he's just kind of funny. But I liked watching him go out and catch these animals. And it was a variety. It wasn't always the same thing. He did a lot of like alligators and stuff, but he had a lot of raccoons. There's some bees and stuff like that. There's a variety of stuff, animals he's got to go capture. I thought it was kind of neat to see how he was doing it, how he was capturing all these different types of animals. And he didn't kill them, he'd release them back into the wild, or you know, if they were injured or something, he'd take them to like an animal clinic or whatever until they could recover. I tried to watch that called The Wild Man. Dude, I watched that first episode and he's like literally drinking and jumping and swimming in a big ass fucking pond of fucking feces. And I was just like, dude, you're a nasty mother. It was gross. He was dumber than a box of rocks. I couldn't watch that dude. He just disgusted me. And then, you know, a lot of these shows, you know, it's, oh, well, we're going to take him to the vet, blah, 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 blah. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. I don't need to watch that shit. Then you have the dog rescue shows. I couldn't get any of that crap. And then you have the ones where they call them the zoo. And there's like 10 different ones, but they all do the same thing. They're just basically nursing the animal back to health. I was like, why are you just showing them nursing them back to health? Why don't you show other shit that they do? Why is it just, oh, we gotta help this animal, nurse them back to health? That they all do that, and it's annoying. The only one that I actually started getting a little into, but I didn't watch it all. I watched about the first season of it, was the Irwins, and that's only because I really like, you know, Daddy Irwin, Steve Irwin. Back in the day, I used to watch a few of his shows, but yeah, the Irwins, and his son looks just like him. He really does. It's uncanny. It's crazy. He looks just like his dad, and he acts like him too. It's a little weird. But anyways, yeah, the Irwins was about the only one other than Billy the Exterminator. I wish I could find another animal show, you know, to watch, but there aren't none. I tried to find some new animal. It's all that vet crap, and I don't care for that vet. That's nursing back to health BS. That's not why I want to watch. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the animal shows. The Irwins are okay. Go ahead and give it a try. Screw the rest, except for Billy the Exterminator. I wish he'd come back out and do another series. That would be really cool. I like Billy the Exterminator, or something similar. I wish there was a show that was very similar to that. So check them out. Give them a try. Give Billy the Exterminator and the Irwins a try. They're alright. Those two are alright. The rest of them, nah. Okay, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. Okay, movie holics, this week is Horror Week. I went with a couple of movies you may never even heard of. It's called The Unnameable. Both of them, there are H.P. Lovecraft movies or stories. Well, they're based off one of his short stories. Um, the first one was done in 1988. There's no box office, it went straight to video. It stars Mark Stevenson. The leading lady is Laura Albert, and also Charles, how you pronounce it? Charles Klausmeyer. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. If I apologize if I don't always pronounce some of these actors' names correctly, because some of them are spelt really weird. But anyways, so at the beginning of the movie, you see some old man trying to calm down something that's in his attic that he's keeping locked up. You later find out it's his daughter, he's some type of magician that meshed a demon with his daughter, and they became one, and it created this weird monster. He did it with, of course, the Necronomicon, which is like in every H.P. Lovecraft story. But then it flashes to present day. At the beginning of the movie, it was like 1700, somewhere around the 1700s. It flashes to the present day, where you have these three college guys. For whatever reason, they're out in the middle of this area where this old abandoned house is. And one of them's name, Mark's character, is called Carter. Charles's character is called Howard. And then you have this other guy, I can't even remember his name. He wasn't in the movie very long. But they're talking about an old ghost story that has to deal with the house. At least Carter is. Carter seems to be how do I put this? A legend seeker. You know, he likes weird and strange stories, that kind of thing. But anyways, their buddy says, well, let's just stay the night here in this house if that story's true. Because he tells a old story about the house and a creature that lives within. And Carter says, nah, you can do that if you want to. I'm not doing that. He's going back to the college. Now the guy who says let's stay the night, he's all about science, and he's all like, oh, I'm going to disprove you, no such thing. So he goes to the house. Howard, he chicken shits out, and he says, I think I'll go back to college too. So he does. Now, of course, you have the two hot girls who show up the next day at the library. Howard looking for Carter, which apparently Carter's always in the library studying. He goes to see Carter and tell him that their buddy didn't come back home. They can't find him. He's called his parents. His parents don't know where he's at. Blah, 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 blah. So he's missing now. So they decide they're going to go check on him and see what's up. Carter finds him annoying at first, but he decides to go ahead and go check it out. The two girls, it shows a scene where they're in the library and they're getting uh, hit on by two jock guys from a fraternity or whatever, and tell them, hey, let's go to this house. It's out in the middle of the woods, you know, it'll be fun, blah, blah, blah. So they go with him. One by one, they start getting killed off. Carter and Howard, they try to find their friend, find out he's dead. They get out with one of the girls towards the end, of course, and I don't know, Carter finds the old man's, like, from the 1700s, like there's still going to be books and shit from that time still in this fucking house. But he finds these books, and he finds the Necronomicon, and he starts reading it, and he traps the creature, blah, 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 and they get out. And I'm just like, and the way they end off the movie, good, because this is important, the way they end off the movie is them walking away. I mean, they really haven't been hurt or anything like that. All three of them are walking away back to the college. That's the end of the movie, right? Okay. Keep that in mind. So, this movie was more of a darker tone. You know, it was trying to do the whole let's kill all the teenagers kind of shit. It was alright. It was goofy, but it was okay. Plus, you can't, you know, you got to deal with Cthulhu and the Necronomicon every time there's an H.P. Lovecraft story. Every time, I'm telling you, it's in every one of his stories. It's Cthulhu and fucking, you know, the Necronomicon. It's okay. It's alright. I give it thumbs up, thumbs down. It's worth a one-time watch if you're a horror fan. Now we get on to the sequel. The Unnameable 2. It's called a couple of different things in other countries, but over here it's the Unnameable 2. Now, remember what I told you about the ending of the first one. This one starts off with the police at the house. Okay. Howard is injured. Like, he got scratched or whatever. But he was fine. He was able to walk away at the end of the first one. In this one, he's on a gurney. They're taking him to the hospital. He's all out of it and blah, blah, blah. The girl who had love interest in Howard, all of a sudden, her character's, it's not even the same actress, but her character's gone. Like, they pretty much took her at the very beginning of this movie and they stuck her in a police car and hauled her off. You didn't really see her hardly at all. Yeah, it was a different actress, but anyways, they took her away, and that's it. You don't see any more of that character. Her name was like Tanya or something, the character's name. But yeah, you don't see her anymore. She's not even mentioned, not one time. And Howard kissed her, and you know, like something was romantic was going on there, but nope. Done. Over. Bye. Put her out of your mind. So the guy, or Mark and Charles, they both come back to reprise their roles as Carter and Howard. What really surprised me is the sequel had John Rhys Davis in it. Now, if you don't know who that is, you're living under a rock. It's the guy who played the dwarf in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He played the dwarf. He's been in countless TV shows and movies too. You know, he was in the Indiana Jones series. You know, other stuff. Yeah, he's a big time actor. Anyways, I was surprised to see him in this. I was like, holy shit. I didn't know he was in this. And then the female lead is Mara Ford. Now, she plays the the human, not the demon. At some point in time, this one's done a little bit differently. Like the story's a little bit different. John and Mark's character, the Carter character, John plays this professor. They, at the beginning of the movie with Howard, they go down these tunnels underneath the house, and they find the Unnameable, the demon girl. And they come up with this weird concoction or idea of how to separate the demon from the girl. So they do it, and it has to do with insulin. Like he just puts some insulin in her, and it separates the demon from the girl. It's like, okay, whatever. Anyways, the girl grows an attachment to Carter. She kind of falls in love with her. She's supposed to be the daughter of the old man from the 1700s. Anyways, the demon and this girl have kind of formed a symbiosis, a bond, like one can't live without the other kind of thing. So the demon doesn't, they think at first the demon goes back to where it came from, but no, it stays because it's now a part of her and it has to be attached to her in order to survive. The same thing with the girl. You later find out that the girl's the same way. Anyways, this demon is, is chasing them all over the campus and killing everybody left and right, trying to get to this girl. And Carter and Howard are trying to protect the girl. Towards the end, you find out that, what I just told you, they have to be together. The girl, once they take care of the demon, the girl starts aging really fast and turns into a corpse. She's 300 years old, so, and the demon's what kept her youthful. Well, that's no longer the case, so. Anyway, she dies. And then, like, I think it's just Howard and Carter and one of the deputies. There's like a couple of deputies or whatever, and the sheriff. They all get killed. So one of the deputies and Howard and Carter are the only ones left. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. They go about doing their own thing towards the end. And Carter tries to hide the Necronomicon. That's the end of the movie. It was okay. I actually liked the sequel better than I did the first one. This one was more of like 80s cheese kind of shit. Even though it was done in 1992, it was more of 80s kind of cheese. There's no box office numbers on this one either. It went straight to video, so it was okay. I liked it better. Definitely give it a one-time watch. Both of these are okay, but the sequel's a lot better than the first one, I think, personally. But I like 80s cheese, so, give it a try if you're into horror. It didn't take itself so seriously as the first. The first one tried to be more serious, more darker tone, and then the sequel was more of a lighter mood. It was almost like it was supposed to be kind of comical or goofy. So, like I said, give it a shot if you like horror movies. It's worth a one-time watch, I would say. If you can think of any underrated or B-type movies you think I may never even seen or heard of any genre, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. So until next time, I told you be told the truth, and you just been told.